Review casting outcomes. In this video, we'll explore generative outcomes and we'll create a 3D design. In Fusion 360, we're going to carry on with our part consolidation design. We can see in the browser that the generate has completed, so we can navigate to Explore to take a look at the results. Once Explore loads, we're shown at the top 4 recommended outcomes. We can see that these 4 outcomes all have converged, which means that they have gone all the way to the criteria that we set out. We don't necessarily have to look at these 4 outcomes. For example, generate outcome 13 doesn't really look like a viable solution. But we can take a look at the others, 12, 5, and 4. I'm going to select Compare. And once we're inside of Compare, I can use the X to remove 13 from the selection. We can see that we have some very different results. Now remember, we set this generate up without symmetry. Symmetry likely would have helped us narrow down our ideas, but we can see that outcome 4 is not really a good option. This leaves us with outcome 12 and outcome 5. By selecting 12, we can see that this is a Y plus Y minus die casting made of aluminum. On the right, you can see that this one is also the same orientation, but with a nickel copper alloy. Both of these are very similar, both aesthetically and in their properties, but I'm not sure that both of these are the right choice. So we're going to finish the outcome view and we're going to take a look at some other options. You can see that we have some that have completed, and this means that it finished going through all its iterations, but it didn't necessarily converge on our outcomes. So we want to identify ones that have converged for the best results. And in this case, I want to take a look at 10, which was not included in the recommended outcomes, and 5 was one that we did look at. I'm going to go ahead and include 5. And then 2 here is one that we did not look at. I'm going to include 2 as well. And then I'm going to use the compare option to take a look at these 3. When I take a look at these 3, we can see that now we have 3 very unique outcomes. Outcome 10 was created using an unrestricted manufacturing method. Outcome 5 was created with die casting with the nickel copper alloy, which we've already seen, and outcome 2 was a cast iron. We can see that the cast iron looks to be thinner in nature. That's based on the material properties. We can take a look in the right-hand corner and take a look at things like the mass, 0.166 kilograms versus 0.292 for outcome 5. For this, I'm going to go ahead and minimize outcome 5 and take a look at just 2 and 10. When I look at these 2 options, the unrestricted method of outcome 10 doesn't really look like a good viable option for me, so I'm going to use the X and focus my attention solely on outcome 2. I think this one looks pretty good. We can always roll back to earlier iterations and see what it looked like a little bit earlier in the time, but in this case, 47 looks pretty good. I can go to the design and I can take a look at any of the geometry that I wish, and once I'm happy with the results, I can create a 3D design from that outcome. I'm going to use Create, and once this is ready, I'll be able to select the design and open it up in Fusion 360. Now that we have a design, we simply need to click to continue, and then open the design in Fusion 360. If you decided not to solve your own generative study, you can go ahead and open up the supplied design. In this case, the design will be Cast Outcome. Since we've already explored the various ways that we can work with an outcome, we're not going to be diving deeper into this one. But I do strongly suggest that you play around with the organic T-spline feature and try to manipulate the geometry slightly before arriving at a final design. Once you're done making any changes, make sure that you do save before moving on.